Have you ever walked away from an intimate night thinking, "That was amazing," only to feel her energy shift the next day? Maybe she's a little colder, a little quieter, and you can't quite put your finger on why. You didn't do anything wrong, at least not in your mind. You kissed her, held her, maybe even told her you loved her. You did what you've always done. So what changed? Here's the uncomfortable truth that most men don't realize. Sometimes, it's not what you did, but what you keep doing, without even knowing it's killing her desire. So before we dive into this list of 9 things men do in bed that women secretly hate, I want you to do 2 things. First, subscribe to this channel, because these aren't surface-level dating tips. We go deep here. Second, like the video, because what you're about to learn might just change your love life forever. And lastly, watch till the end, because the last thing on this list, it's the silent relationship killer nobody talks about but every woman feels. Let's begin. 1. Rushing the moment. Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever been in love with someone so deeply that just sitting next to them made your heart race? Do you remember those early days, the slow kisses, the stolen glances, the touch that lingered a second too long? It wasn't just about the act. It was about the build-up, the anticipation, the unspoken energy between you two. Now tell me this. When was the last time you recreated that feeling in bed? Because here's the brutal truth, my friend. Most men rush it. We dive in, we go fast, and we finish before the real magic ever begins. And while we lie back, satisfied, she's staring at the ceiling, silently grieving the connection she craved but never got. She wanted to be seen, touched, worshipped like she was your entire universe. But all she got was friction, not feeling. And here's the part that might hurt. She won't say anything. Not directly. She'll fake a smile, maybe say she's tired, but something changes. The warmth, the spark, it slowly disappears. You don't even notice it at first, until you're lying in bed wondering, why does it feel like we're distant now? Now, before we go further, I want you to pause. Really pause. Think about someone from your past. Someone who made you feel everything. Someone you lost, maybe because of distance or ego, or maybe because you didn't understand them the way they needed to be understood. Do you remember how that loss felt? That heaviness in your chest? That question that haunted your nights? What could I have done differently? This is your chance to do it differently, because rushing intimacy isn't just a physical mistake. It's an emotional one. It tells her without saying a word that her body matters more than her being. But when you slow down, when you take your time and touch her like she's sacred, everything changes. She starts to open up in ways you've never seen. Her trust, her passion, her vulnerability, where all of it flows naturally. Not because you're good in bed, but because you made her feel safe enough to want to give herself to you. So take your time. Trace her skin with intention. Let your hands speak what your mouth sometimes struggles to say. I see you. I want all of you. Not just your body, but your soul too. Because when you do that, my friend, you're not just making love. You're healing every man who came before you, and making her never want to lose you. 2. Being too quiet. Let me tell you a secret. Silence in bed isn't sexy. It's scary. And I don't mean the gentle, romantic quiet between two people. I mean the kind of silence that makes her feel like she's alone in the moment. Like she's giving everything, and her body, her vulnerability, her energy, and you're not even there. Have you ever been in a relationship where you felt like you were screaming emotionally, but no one heard you? Where your pain was loud, but the other person stayed silent? That's how many women feel in bed. Not because you're bad at it, but because you're not there. Not emotionally, not vocally, not present. Let me bring you back to a memory. Maybe your first love. The one who made your heart race. The one you held tighter when it rained outside. You remember how alive you felt just lying next to her, right? How every sigh, every giggle, every little moan meant the world to you. Now imagine that girl, in your bed again, giving you all of her, and you're just silent. No whispers. No words of affirmation. No moans to say, yes, I feel you too. You may not realize this, but when you're quiet, she feels like she's not enough. Not hot enough. Not wild enough. Not satisfying enough. And she'll start to overthink. Is he bored? Is he thinking about someone else? Am I even doing it right? And trust me, once a woman starts questioning her worth in bed, the connection starts to die. Not overnight, but slowly, quietly, just like the silence you're giving her. But here's the beautiful twist. This is something you can change. Right now, start small. Whisper how good she feels. Tell her what you love about her body. Let out a sigh of satisfaction. Not because you're performing, but because you feel it, because you're present. When she hears you, when your voice and your energy wrap around her like a warm blanket, she feels reassured. She feels loved. She feels with you. Remember, women don't crave perfection. They crave presence. So speak up, brother. Don't let your silence scream insecurity. Let your voice tell her, I'm here. I'm with you. And this moment, it matters. Because when you do, you won't just satisfy her. You'll give her something most men never do. Emotional safety during the most vulnerable act of all. 3. Ignoring emotional connection before intimacy. Let me ask you something real. When was the last time you held her hand and truly looked into her eyes, not to get something from her, not to lead her to the bedroom, but just to be present with her? Because here's a truth most men miss completely. Physical intimacy without emotional connection feels empty to her. And eventually, it'll feel empty to you too. Do you remember the first time you fell in love? That one person who made you forget the world, whose voice could silence your anxiety, whose smile was your peace. Now think back to how you felt when that love started fading. Not all at once, just gradually, like a light dimming. They stopped calling like they used to. The texts got shorter. The hugs were still there, but the warmth, it was gone. It broke you, didn't it? You stayed up late wondering what changed. You replayed every moment in your head, every kiss, every fight, every silence that grew louder over time. And the thing that hurts the most? You weren't sure if they ever truly felt you anymore. Brother, that same heartbreak, that exact kind of distance, is what she feels when you skip the emotional connection and go straight for the physical. Women don't open up their bodies until they feel safe to open up their hearts. They don't want to feel like a performance. They want to feel like a partner. And here's where most men get it wrong. They think romance ends after the chase, after the date, after the I love you. But in her world, that's where it starts. If you're wondering why she's pulling away in bed, why she's less responsive, why the fire feels cold, maybe it's not because you're not enough. Maybe it's because she doesn't feel connected to you anymore. It's not about flowers. It's about presence. It's about making her laugh, asking about her day, holding her without expecting more. It's about telling her you love her and showing it when the lights are off. So I ask you, when was the last time you kissed her like it was the last time? When was the last time you looked her in the eye and said, I'm lucky to have you? Because when you nurture her heart, her body follows. And when you ignore her emotionally, she slowly disappears even if she's lying right beside you. You want unforgettable nights? Start with unforgettable mornings. Start with conversations, deep eye contact, and the kind of emotional bond that makes her crave you not just physically, but spiritually. Because in the end, what every man wants is not just a body next to him, it's a soul that stays. 4. Treating intimacy like a checklist. Let's be brutally honest. Have you ever caught yourself rushing through the experience, mentally ticking off steps like a to-do list? Kiss, touch, go, done, sleep. If that hits you hard, good. That means you're honest with yourself. But here's what you need to hear, and maybe no one's ever told you this. When intimacy becomes routine, it stops being romantic. And when it stops being romantic, it stops feeling like love. Think back to your first time with someone you really loved. Not just lust, love. You were nervous, excited, you paid attention to every second, every breath, every heartbeat. You weren't rushing it, you were lost in it. Now, somewhere along the way, things changed. Life got busy. Stress took over. You started seeing sex as a routine, like brushing your teeth. And without even realizing it, you started checking boxes instead of connecting souls. But here's the thing, she feels it. She can feel when you're present. And when you're just going through the motions, she can feel when you're making love and when you're just finishing a task. And that, my friend, breaks her heart. Because every time you treat intimacy like a habit instead of an experience, she starts wondering if she's still special to you, if she still turns you on, if you still see her. And then come the fights, the distance, the I'm not in the mood, the I have a headache, the cold shoulder. And you think she's changed, and when in reality, you stopped making her feel cherished. Now pause for a second. Think of your ex. Yeah, that one. The one that shattered you. Do you remember how it felt when they stopped trying? When they stopped putting effort in? When you knew deep down that you were no longer their priority? That pain you felt? That emptiness? That slow emotional death? That's what she feels when you stop being present. Not just emotionally, but physically. So here's the fix. Slow it down. Don't just touch her and explore her. Don't just kiss her, devour her soul. Let her feel like she's the first woman you've ever touched, and the last one you'll ever want to. Talk to her, tease her, laugh in the moment. Make love with your words, your breath, your energy. Because when you treat intimacy like an adventure instead of a checklist, she'll follow you to the ends of the earth. She won't need romance novels. She'll live one with you. 5. Focusing only on your own pleasure. Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever laid there after it was all over and noticed the silence? Not just in the room, but in her. That kind of silence where she turns her back slightly, forces a half smile, and says, "It's okay, I'm just tired." But deep down, you feel it. Something's off. Let me take you back to a memory on your ex. Yeah, that one. The one you thought you'd marry. The one whose scent haunted your clothes. The one whose birthday still lingers in your head. Even if you try to forget, do you remember when things started falling apart? It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet. She stopped reaching for your hand. Stopped asking about your day. Stopped looking at you the same way. That shift? It didn't happen all at once. It happened every time she gave and you didn't give back. Every time you focused on you and forgot about her. Brother, a lot of men don't realize this. But in bed, when you only chase your own release, you're not making love. You're taking something, not giving anything. She notices. When you speed up just to finish. When you don't check if she's there with you emotionally. When you don't ask her what she likes or if she's okay. And here's the heartbreaking truth. Eventually she stops asking for more. Not because she's satisfied, but because she's given up on ever being fully seen. Now pause. Close your eyes and think. Have you ever felt invisible to someone you loved? Have you ever cried quietly next to someone you thought would never hurt you? That pain you felt? That's the pain she hides when you treat her body like a goalpost, not a garden. But here's the good news. This is one of the easiest things to fix. It doesn't take flowers or expensive trips. It takes presence. It takes asking, "Do you like this?" It takes watching her reactions more than your own pleasure. It takes a man who's not afraid to slow down and give. And when you give her that, when you focus on her pleasure, on her emotions, she gives you back 10 times more. She'll look at you like you're her world. She'll crave you. She'll beg for you. Not because of what you do, but because of how you make her feel. So don't be the man she remembers as selfish. Be the man who made her believe in real love again, and in the kind of connection that touches more than just skin. Because when you stop making intimacy about your own pleasure, you'll finally understand what it really means to be unforgettable. 6. Being too rough without reading her. Let's talk about something uncomfortable. There's a fine line between passionate and painful, and too many men don't know where it is. Maybe you've been told that women love it rough. And sure, some do, but not all the time and never without emotional awareness. Here's the reality. A woman's heart and body are intertwined. You can't just grab, slam, or push your way into pleasure and expect her to melt. If she's not emotionally connected, every rough move feels like a wound. Not just to her body, but to her trust in you. Let's go back for a second, to your heartbreak. Remember how it felt when someone touched you physically, but you knew they weren't there with you anymore? It was cold, hollow. It made you feel like a stranger in your own love story. That's exactly how she feels when you go too hard, too fast, or too carelessly, without even looking at her, reading her energy, or asking her softly, "Is this okay?" You see, she might not say no. She might not stop you, but that doesn't mean she's enjoying it. It just means she doesn't want to disappoint you. And when a woman starts enduring instead of enjoying, the relationship begins to rot. She'll start to dread being touched. She'll flinch when you grab her. She'll go quiet. And then one day she'll be gone. Not because you didn't love her, but because she stopped feeling safe with you. And that's the deepest kind of heartbreak. Losing someone who loved you because you didn't slow down long enough to notice when they started shutting down. So here's what you need to do. Read her. Not just her body, her soul. Is she leaning into you or pulling away? Does her breath quicken with desire or anxiety? Is she loud because she wants more or because she wants it to end? Don't just dominate, communicate. Whisper in her ear, "Do you like this?" Hold her hand. Look into her eyes. Let her feel safe before she feels submission. When she knows you care more about her pleasure than your pride. When she knows you're reading her like a love letter, not like a rule book, she will give you a passion you've never experienced before. So if you've ever lost a good woman and wondered, what went wrong? Maybe you weren't too rough physically, but you were too rough emotionally. Don't let that mistake cost you another heart. Because the next time you touch her with presence, patience, and permission, you won't just feel her body. You'll finally reach her heart. By being silent, not speaking during intimacy. Let me ask you something that most men never think about. Have you ever been next to someone completely close body against body, but the silence between you felt louder than a scream? She's there under your touch in your arms, but you haven't said a word. No, you're beautiful. No, I love how you feel. No, does this feel good? Just silence. And here's the part that hurts. Silence in intimacy isn't sexy. It's unsettling. It makes her question herself. It makes her wonder, is he even enjoying this? Am I not good enough? Is he just doing this for himself? Brother, a woman doesn't just want your body. She wants your words. She wants your voice to wrap around her like your arms do. She wants to know you're with her, not just going through the motions. Now take a second and remember someone you lost. Someone you still dream about when you lie awake at 2 a.m. That woman who once lit up when you entered the room. Now she's just a memory, not blurry, soft, and unfinished. And if you're honest, there were nights you were silent. Not just in bed, but in love. You didn't say what needed to be said until it was too late. Maybe you thought, she knows I care. But she didn't. She needed to hear it. Because women are built differently. They connect through words, through emotional resonance. You can touch her 1,000 ways. But one whispered truth in her ear can melt her heart more than anything else. So when you're silent in those intimate moments, you're not being cool or mysterious. You're being absent. And no woman wants to make love to a ghost. Start speaking. Start praising her. Start guiding her, asking her, telling her how much you crave her. Let your voice turn her on more than your hands do. Because when a woman feels heard, she gives herself to you completely, and I mean completely. So the next time you're with someone you truly care about, don't just undress her body, undress her heart. With your words. You might not get another chance. Remember your ex? The one who stopped replying. The one whose name still sits heavy in your chest. You might never get to say those words to her again. Don't lose the next one the same way. 8. Not taking the time for foreplay. Let's be real. So many men rush into intimacy like it's a race. They think the goal is the finish line, but they forget that the journey is what makes the destination worth it. And the journey? That's foreplay. Think back to your first love. Not just the first person you slept with. I mean the one who made you nervous. The one who made your palms sweat just by brushing your arm. The one who made hours feel like minutes when you were around her. Remember those early touches? The slow kisses? The way you couldn't stop looking at her mouth, her eyes, her smile? That was foreplay. And somewhere along the way, as time passed, you forgot how important that was. You started skipping the build-up. You started fast-forwarding to the act. You stopped playing the music and went straight to the climax. And she noticed. Because for women, foreplay isn't optional. It's the entrance. The warm-up. The moment she decides whether she wants to open herself to you or close off forever. And if you skip it, she might not say a word, but a part of her shuts down. A little more each time, until one day, she doesn't reach for you anymore. She doesn't initiate, she avoids your eyes. And when you finally ask what's wrong, she simply says, I don't feel close to you anymore. And that breaks you. I know, because you've been there. You've had someone drift away and you couldn't understand why. You thought you were doing everything right. But the truth is, you stopped giving her the one thing she truly craved. Attention before intimacy. Foreplay isn't just touching. It's texting her all day, telling her how much you want her. It's cooking dinner for her and pulling her in for a slow kiss while it simmers. It's brushing her hair out of her face and whispering, you drive me crazy. It's the little things that lead to everything. A woman wants to feel chosen, not just used. She wants to know that her body isn't a pit stop on your way to pleasure, but the temple you worship in slowly, respectfully, passionately. So if your heart still aches for someone you lost, if there's a woman you still dream about and wonder, could it have been different? Ask yourself, did I make her feel adored? or just desired. Because when you take your time, when you light her fire with patience, not pressure, she won't just give you her body, she'll give you her soul. 9. Being selfish, focusing only on your own pleasure. Let me ask you something. Have you ever made love to someone while being completely lost in your own head? Not because you didn't care, but because somewhere deep down, you thought that if you were satisfied, that was enough. And now that she's gone, you can't help but wonder, did I ever really make her feel loved? Or was I too focused on what I wanted? Brother, this isn't just about sex. This is about presence. This is about how many men think that just being there is enough, when what a woman truly needs is for you to see her, feel her, prioritize her. Let's take it back. Remember that one girl? The one who made your heart race just by calling your name? The one who smiled at you like you were the only man on earth? You remember the sound of her laugh, the way she'd bury her head in your chest, the quiet way she whispered, "I love you," when she thought you were asleep. She gave you everything, and maybe, just maybe, you didn't give enough back. Not because you were cruel, but because no one told you this. Being selfish in bed is one of the fastest ways to lose a good woman. You see, most men are never taught how to love with intention. We're raised on instant pleasure, quick releases, and fantasies that only focus on male satisfaction. But women, they want more. They need more. They want to feel like their body matters, their emotions matter, their experience matters, not just yours. And when you ignore that, when you only chase your own release without asking how she feels, without checking if she's there with you emotionally and physically, she starts to drift. She starts to feel like just a tool for your release, not a partner in your pleasure. And even if she stays with you for a while, her spirit begins to fade from the relationship. She'll smile less. She'll pull away. She'll say, "I'm fine," when she's anything but. Until one day she disappears completely. And all you're left with is an empty bed, old memories, and a deep ache in your chest. You ever feel that? That pain of waking up and reaching for someone who isn't there anymore? Scrolling through old messages, trying to piece together what went wrong. Listening to that one song on repeat, because it reminds you of how she looked at you once, how her touch used to feel like safety. Brother, I know that pain, and I know this truth. She didn't leave because you weren't attractive. She left because she didn't feel cherished, in bed and in life. Now, here's what you need to remember. Sex isn't a performance. It's not a competition. It's not a one-man show. It's a dance, a mutual surrender. And the best lovers, the ones women never forget, are the ones who give, not just take. Slow down. Ask her what she likes. Watch her body. Listen to her breath. Hold her after. Tell her how beautiful she is in that moment. Not because it benefits you, but because making her feel loved is the real reward. When she feels seen, she blossoms. And the irony? When you focus on her pleasure, on her needs, she'll want to please you even more. Because love, real love, is reciprocal. So if you're sitting here right now with a heavy heart, wondering how to forget your ex, how to move past that one woman who you can't seem to erase from your soul, ask yourself honestly, did I give her what she needed or just what I wanted? This isn't about guilt, it's about growth. You can't change the past, but you can become the kind of man who makes a woman feel safe, worshipped, adored, in and out of bed. That kind of man, he doesn't get forgotten. He doesn't wake up alone wondering what could have been. He wakes up to a woman who can't stop smiling at him, because she knows she's truly loved. You have the chance to be that man, not for her, but for you. So that next time love knocks on your door, you don't just open it, you welcome it with everything you've got. Final words. Most of these things aren't about technique. They're about attention to her body, her signals, her emotions, her energy. The truth is, women don't expect perfection in bed, but they do expect presence. They want to feel with you, not just used by you. And the best part? When you learn to give her what she truly craves, she'll give you what you've always dreamed of. Not because she has to, but because she wants to. So take this list seriously. Be honest, reflect. Ask yourself, do I do any of these things? Have I unintentionally made her feel unseen? Because if you can answer that, and change it, you won't just be good in bed, you'll be unforgettable. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time,